Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm super happy to see all of you today. I have a little bit of a different video today, and I think this video is going to be very good if you're thinking about starting a reselling business. If you're thinking about selling stuff on eBay or Poshmark or Meacari, you know, something like that, a reselling business, or maybe you're not even thinking about starting a reselling business and you're just thinking about, well, starting a business in general, a business that supplies a product to a customer or a consumer. And I think this is going to be a very valuable video to you for the business-minded person or the entrepreneur. And see, what I'm going to talk about in this video today is a philosophy, and it's something that I have learned over the course of many years doing business and primarily owning a reselling business. I'm gonna speak directly through the lens of that, but it is definitely something I have had to very much learn and very much generate a nuance for. I think it's going to be very valuable to all of you guys. So I hope this is something that is going to be very valuable to each and every one of you. And I don't even know if I can fully teach or encompass this in a video. This is really a school of thought, so to speak, and it's something you kind of have to develop on your own, but it's at least something I can kind of hopefully spark the idea in your brain so you guys can start thinking about it and adapt it into your lifestyle and your way of thinking. Now, before I actually get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I'm just gonna shamelessly throw this out there. If you are a business-minded person, an entrepreneur, you're into stuff like that, you just like to work hard like me. I own a reselling business where I buy and sell stuff primarily on the Poshmark app, and I've been using this YouTube channel to document like my day-to-day practices of trying to scale my business to something really special one day. I think it's gonna be really cool, like, you know, 5-6 years from now, looking back on these videos of when my business was rather small like it is now, just to kind of document the little incremental progress along the way. So if you're into business, entrepreneurship, you like to sell stuff on eBay, Poshmark, Meacari, you're into flipping stuff, you're just into business theory or economics or anything like that, or just like real world vlogs about business, then this is the channel for you. We are building a super cool community here of like really smart, hardworking people, and I couldn't be happier with the type of people that are watching my videos. So obviously join this community, and to do that, hit the subscribe button. It's a fantastic way to stay updated on all my content, to hopefully inspire and help you guys out as much as I can. And obviously hit the like button. You've heard the spiel before. The YouTube algorithm loves it when you hit the like button. So go ahead, hit the like button. I cannot appreciate every single one of you guys who do that. You guys are the best. And if you want to talk, hit me up in the comment section down below. I would love to talk to each and every one of you down there. Right. So what am I actually talking about? What is this school of thought I'm gonna try to portray to you guys? And well, to be frank and well, perfectly honest with you guys, I don't even know if there's a term I can use to sum this up, or what it's really even called. I'm gonna call it understanding your customer. Okay, getting into the mind of your customer. And see, this is something that I think I definitely suffered with, and I think a lot of people probably do suffer it in business, in entrepreneurship, and it's something that can really give you a bad taste in your mouth if it takes you a long time to adapt this. See, my world view before I started a business was rather narrow, and it took me many years of trial and error to adapt some sort of visibility or really clear direction of how I should be conducting or growing my business, and truly understanding what makes my business click, and truly understanding why people are choosing my business to purchase goods. And for a little bit of background, if you're new to this channel, I resell primarily clothing. I primarily buy clothing used at a pretty large scale, and then I will resell used clothing using mediums like eBay or Poshmark or Meacari, but primarily Poshmark. That is where I have had the most success growing my business. So yeah, I sell used clothes, and everything from undergarments and accessories to some of the heaviest jackets you could think of. I sell everything in between those two spectrums, and some sporting good equipment as well. All sorts of stuff. Hence the name of my YouTube channel, Vintage by Jacob, or the name of my business, which is also called Vintage by Jacob. I started out selling vintage clothing. See, the very first garment I ever sold on a whim, because I used to be really, I'm not even gonna go into that. I have a whole video talking about the story of my business and how I kind of got to where I am, and maybe I'll do another video on that, a kind of a clear revised version of that. But the very first thing I sold was a vintage Seattle Supersonics jacket. See, when I first started my business, I wasn't even old enough to drink yet. And I think at that point in my life, I was probably naive to a lot of different things. And it seemed that my entire scope and view on business is that what I like, somebody else probably will like. And that is very true. And that's a very good aspect of business. And if there is something that you like, you should be passionate about it. And that is a little bit about how I got into my business in the first place was, well, vintage clothing, because I was always growing up, I always wanted to be on the cutting edge of fads and fashion, and everybody does, you know, and it's just the trends, you know, they somehow consume us. But as we all know, any good trend doesn't last long. So yes, I started my business selling vintage clothing, thinking that, hey, I love vintage clothing, it's what's in now, it's what's gonna take me to the top. And there was that initial sugar high, you know, when I was finding really cool vintage stuff to sell, and things were growing at a pretty good rate, and and like I said, anything that, you know, seems too good to be true, so to speak, typically is. And it kind of hit a plateau and kind of puttered out, and well, the name still stuck, Vintage by Jacob. I still think that's a cool name, but vintage clothing is a very, very small portion of what I sell nowadays, and I still love to find it. I still have, you know, roots in the vintage clothing category, and I love that stuff. But like I said, it's a very, very small portion of what I sell today. So what am I really trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that it took me a long time to come to the understanding that what I personally like isn't what everybody likes, and a lot of times I was in the minority of what people liked, and in my field, in my business, I really had to put my foot down, put my nose to the ground, and understand what people who are correlated with my business are looking for. You know, what are people who are buying used clothing and used garments, what are they looking for? And I really had to do some critical things. Maybe I'm naive, and maybe if you're a business owner out there, this was maybe the first thing you did, and maybe you didn't learn through trial and error or be baptized by fire doing this. But I really, you know, after a few years of having some mediocre success but not seeing any real growth, I had to think, and I had to figure out, what are people actually coming to my business to buy? And it ended up, it wasn't vintage clothing. That's a very small portion of my business. But instead, it ended up being someone who's just looking for a good value. A long time to realize that, you know, why is someone going to a app like Poshmark to buy, you know, some used piece of clothing? You know, why do people go to thrift stores to buy clothing? And it's for, well, value. And what really gave me a very clear scope on this was honestly when everything was shut down for a while. That first initial wave of when everything was shut down, I started reading articles about the RV industry. It's like a brand new breath of fresh air to the RV industry, and RV prices are up X percent for the month over month, and everything is just so expensive. Boats got really expensive. I was a used boat owner, and I was able to sell my boat for far more than I purchased it for. And four-wheelers and ATVs and all this stuff was skyrocketing in prices. And if you wanted to go camping, you couldn't. It was so hard to find a camping spot, and you'd have to book it way in advance. And the national parks were overflowing, and the ski hills were filled, and just all this stuff. And at that point, it just started to seem like everything was unfolding in my mind, and I was just starting to figure out this very, very complex equation which I didn't even know there was an equation at all, and I was completely blinded to it. There on every single order I had of a used garment, I could go back and I could strategize some sort of theory as to why somebody purchased something. So let's take a recent example so I can kind of clarify this for you guys. So I just sold this North Face down puffer jacket. Why did somebody just buy this jacket? So let's think about it critically a little bit. Okay, obvious one. It's winter, okay? That's probably why somebody's buying a jacket. But I have tons of jackets on for sale. Okay, so why are they buying it then? You know, because they could have picked from a numerous amount of jackets. Okay, obviously sizing and styling, that's very important as well, of course. Okay, name brand, obviously North Face, that's going to have a higher chance of selling as opposed to just some more generic brand or maybe a lesser quality brand. Okay, so there you go. So quality, you know, North Face resembles quality. So maybe they were looking for some high quality, okay? But it was goose down. So why are they looking for a goose down jacket? Okay, well it's lightweight and it's packable. Maybe, you know, maybe it's somebody who's gonna use it for some sort of recreation. Maybe some sort of winter camping trip or something like that. And well, okay, since it's a down jacket, why it's a 700 fill down jacket. So there's different grades of down. Why did they choose a 700 fill down jacket? See, there's just it's such a multifaceted equation as to why people make the decisions that they do, but ultimately it led them to me. And it's so interesting backtracking from that, and ultimately I think it comes down for majority of cases to value. Somebody probably preferred to buy a slightly used version of this jacket and receive the big discount that they get as opposed to buying it brand new. We all, you know, it's like a basic understanding that, well, if you want to have a successful business, you have to provide value, you know, and on face level, it's like everybody's gonna nod their head and they're gonna you know, say obviously you have to provide value, but what does that really mean? And I think value is just that. It's value, and I think you can absolutely find value in, well, to be perfectly honest, anything in life. But in case of my business, I can what's really been helping my business and what I found a huge uptick in basically every single metric across the board, sales and revenue and profit and just the overall health and growth of my business is me finding value in every single thing I provide and sell. What does that mean? What that means is, well, you know, take the jacket, for example. Obviously it's winter, and I understand that people are going to find more value in winter garments because, well, it's cold out. So obviously going to buy more of that now. But who's to say that, you know, the bathing suit or the pair of swimming trunks that I just picked up that I'm planning on reselling isn't going to sell, because there's absolutely value in that to somebody. You know, people go on vacations in the winter. People love to plan their tropical vacations in the winter, especially if you aren't a person who really likes winter. You know, you love to get out into tropical weather, and there's parts of the world where, well, it's never winter. So who's to say, because I live in a cold climate, and that it's my understanding that, well, jacket's going to do better now because, well, this is my experience. It's not true. Everybody is living a different experience right now, and everybody is looking for different values right now. So to be honest, I'm sorry if this isn't as cut and dry as you would like, and it's probably a little bit more philosophical. That's probably how it's coming off, but I think that's true. I think it definitely is probably more philosophical, and I think a lot of it has to do with being able to maintain a good attitude and being able to adapt. See, back when I just strived to sell vintage clothing, like that was my niche. When I realized that that wasn't taking me to where I wanted a business of mine that I created to take me, I had to understand and I had to figure out where people's value lies. And that is ultimately where the greatest opportunity will be. So just some food for thought. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. It's This video is very open-ended, obviously, and I would love to hear you guys' input about your business or your experiences as an entrepreneur or a business owner, because I think ultimately this is going to be different for everybody. But I think it's important to just start thinking about this stuff, you know, because life isn't finite, and everything is not black and white. Everything is very, very multifaceted. And if we can take ourselves out of our shoes for a little bit, I think there's some tremendous value in that. So keep that in mind. You guys are literally the best. That is today's video. I hope I got you guys thinking. That's ultimately my goal, a little bit, at least with this video. But that's that. More traditional content coming this week. I've really been thinking about this lately, so I really wanted to get it down on video. So I appreciate you guys giving me the chance to talk about this. That being said, you guys are the best. I'll see you guys next time. Comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. You guys are awesome. Yeah, be good to one another. Take it easy. Peace.